Actually, funnily enough, my dream was to be in a band, but nobody wanted to be in a band with me, so I did the solo thing, and yeah, here I am.
Von Blackpool nach Basel. Von der Studiobühne von der Voice of UK auf die Livebühne von der Baloise Session. Für den englischen Singer-Songwriter Tom Gregory ist dieser Traum wahr geworden. Wo er backstage die Galerie von der Musiklegende bestund, wo da schon gespielt haben, kann er fast nicht glauben, dass er jetzt selber Teil von der Baloise Session ist. Der sympathische Engländer redet über seine musikalischen Helden, die ihm immer noch sehr nahe stehen.
Tom, it's so nice to meet you here.
Nice to meet you.
It's a great gig today, and we are here in the gallery of Baloise Session.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of big acts played here, and we see here a picture of OneRepublic.
Yeah.
You know them?
Yes. Yeah, OneRepublic, I mean, just a top band for the last nearly 20 years on the highest level, and I was fortunate enough to tour with those guys a few years ago and really learn. Yeah, also here in Switzerland, and I played a few shows with them. And
oh, really? Even? Okay,
yeah, and,
cool.
And super nice guys, very humble, and that's exactly what they are. They're just full energy, the American dream, hits, and yeah. I think it's really inspiring as a younger guy to see an artist go and tour and be on that level for so long.
This one we didn't see from you yet.
No, not yet. I'm kind of, we have a joke amongst my family that I'm very injury prone. So if I go skiing, I went skiing, I broke my legs. I go on a moped, I break my arm. So I try to keep it a little bit less sporty.
We are glad that you made it so far on stage. Let's
I've
go
got
further.
insurance, so.
Let's go further. So now we come to a legend, Joe Cocker.
I mean,
he's from another generation, but how do you know him?
Well, I know him because a friend of mine who has also played here, Johannes Erding. I'm right in saying toured with Joe in Germany. Joe did a big tour in Germany. I don't know how old he was when he stopped touring, but
he was very old.
Exactly, and it's just kind of really inspiring to see the longevity. Again, kind of like OneRepublic, you know, it's to do that for so long and on such a high level, and to keep audiences engaged from the start to the end for so many years. It's incredible.
Joe told me once, I asked him why he's still doing that.
Yeah.
Because he was old already. And he said, you know why? I don't do it only for the music. The music gives me the opportunity to see how the world changed in all the time. That is amazing.
It's really true, and I think that you also grow with your audience, and that's really interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Me and my father went to see Elton John, and you also forget how many years. Yeah, Elton's over there. But you forget how many years some of these guys have been touring, and
Absolutely.
For someone like me, it's unimaginable how they do it.
We'll see you back.
We'll see. I don't know, maybe in a few years we'll
now
see.
We come to Ellie Goulding.
Yeah.
She played also here. It was a fantastic concert. If you see all these artists, how do you feel to be one of those now?
A little bit strange. Listening to Ellie reminds me of when I was at school, which, yeah, it's really strange, and it's always weird for me to see people playing the same festivals or on the same stage, and I'm a fan of them, and I don't think I'll get used to that. So very strange. I don't think I'll ever find that normal, to be honest. It was the same. It was the same touring with OneRepublic. I had all the albums when I was a kid, and you want to ask them so many questions, and I did, but just feels super strange. It's, what is it? Imposter syndrome, I believe it's called. Yeah. So
let's have a talk about music on the sofa. Tom, we went to the gallery there, and you talked about all the stars which you met and which were your idols. What kind of questions did you have to OneRepublic when you met them?
I think just how they stayed hungry for so long to do it, with all the travelling and the time, and that was really interesting. And also, what's interesting with, it's a bit different when you're a band to a solo artist, is how you make the decisions. That was interesting. The dynamics. So it's a little bit more political in a band. I don't have to ask as many people. I only have to ask myself, and maybe...
Do you ask yourself sometimes?
A little bit, yeah, I think you have to. Yeah, and also how they evolve the sound all the time. The same, OneRepublic, Coldplay, Maroon 5. There's so many bands from the same era that are still relevant now because they always evolve their sound. And to me, that's the most interesting part, because, if you don't change in... The best artists of all time adapted all the time. And the first album was different to the last album. I can't think of too many artists that only sounded the same throughout their whole career. There will be some, but usually people always evolve. Queen is the big one that I think of as well. Yeah,
Joe Cocker he also went with the time. I mean,
and it's hard to do because you have to predict what's going to work before, and not if you just. We're in a funny place in the music business because a sound can become relevant, but then if you create that sound, it's already moved on to something else. So you've almost got to create it yourself, and yeah, that's really hard to do. So,
but aren't we living in a time that kind of every sound is possible?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
That you have to find your own spot, and I think that's also very difficult for an artist. If you find your sound and your spot, you have to stay there, that people recognize you. You know.
When I was growing up, there used to be genres of music,
exactly.
And it was like maybe 6 or 7 genres of music, and now there's like it doesn't exist. It's almost like a rainbow. Everything blends into one, and you're totally right.
And you have to be one color, and you always have to sound like that color.
Sure.
That's Tom Gregory.
Yeah,
typically.
Yeah.
And you have to move away from that because you want to develop.
And you have to move away from it slowly so that it doesn't alienate your fans, or so that it's not too different, but it's just different enough. Ed Sheeran's also great at it. He's done it for so many years. And the thing is, it sounds really easy because pop music sounds simple, but those guys make it sound easy, and it's not easy.
You also makes it sound easy. I think the gig today on the stage was very easy. It came very spontaneously.
Thank you.
I liked also how you interfered with the audience. So it sounds comfortable.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not always the most outgoing person, which people maybe find hard to believe. But when I'm on the stage, there's just something else that happens, I guess, and it's like a really comfortable. Like you say, it's a comfortable place for me.
Let's quickly go back to Ellie Goulding. You told me that she reminded you of your school time.
It really reminds me of being maybe. Well, I'm nearly 30 now. I want to say 15. I want to say Ellie's first single was 2010. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah,
maybe? Around about then. Mm-hmm. So probably I was about 15. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it just sounded so different at the time. This electro pop synth
exactly.
sound.
Mm-hmm.
The voice was so different. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The voice is like really breathy, and
exactly.
The voice sounds kind of not. It's like magic. It's a bit magical. It's not real almost. I don't really know how else to describe it, but mythical. And that's what you have to do as an artist. You've got to make people say, "What is this? This is really. I've not heard this before. What is this?" And I remember she did that to me when I was at school, and big fan.
Now, some people in the audience in Basel maybe also looked at you and said, "What is this?"
maybe, yeah. But it's funny, introspectively, very hard to look at yourself like that, because I think that people forget that I go home and I listen to the same music as everyone else. The only difference is I don't listen to me.
You don't?
No, because I can't learn. I think I'm not going to take credit for this, but Chris Martin from Coldplay said it in an interview once, and he said, I don't listen to my own music because I can't learn anything from it, which is kind of true. Maybe you can learn a few things, but you learn more from listening to other people's music. So yeah, I'm just like everybody else. I listen to everything. I just don't listen to me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Which music did you learn most from?
I think a lot of bands. I played a song tonight by Keane, Somewhere Only We Know.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, so bands like Keane. There's a Scottish band called Travis. They were really big in the early 2000s. Yeah. A lot of bands in the early 2000s, and then you get to like Coldplay, all the Britpop stuff, OneRepublic. Actually, funnily enough, my dream was to be in a band, but nobody wanted to be in a band with me, so I did the solo thing, and yeah, here I am. So yeah.
Do you also learn from the public sometimes?
It's interesting because I play a lot of album songs in my festival show, and sometimes the reaction to the songs that aren't as commercially successful is the same as the ones that are the big hits. And I always find that really interesting. So I guess I learned from that a little bit in terms of what interests people from me.
What did you learn from the Baloise public today?
I played a few songs that aren't as big, maybe commercially, and I got a really good reaction from them. So it's always interesting for me to have that feedback live. And you can literally see people's reactions whilst you're playing, so it's instant feedback. That's why a lot of the best producers in the world were disc jockeys, were DJs, because they play records on the weekend in clubs and they know what works, and then they go back to the studio. They just do it more than us, because I can only play 4 shows a week, whereas they can play
every night,
10 shows a week.
Exactly,
they can play every night. So so that always really fascinates me, and it always really fascinates me the reactions of the different demographics, age groups. So yeah,
that's very interesting in this place.
That's really interesting. Yeah. You'll get some songs that work for an older crowd, or the old people who are a bit older in the audience, and then the younger people like a totally different sound. That's really interesting. And if you can get both, that's when you know you've got a really special song hit. Yeah.
I think you achieved it absolutely today.
I hope so. I'm trying every day.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you so much.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Great
nice to meet
artist,
you too.
and all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Fantastic.